And here we are again in Game 3 between RatPoison and BrofessorX here in the MSL Code B SemiFinals. Currently, BrofessorX is up 2-0 in this best of 5, and so this is match point. RatPoison needs to pull something out of his hat, maybe try an Ultralisk, although I feel like that would be really difficult to pull out of your hat. As a side note, if you've seen the cinematic opening for Heart of the Swarm, you see that how gigantic Ultralisks are. You can imagine one of those burrowing, and it just kind of boggles your mind. So, of course, RatPoison here in the top right-hand corner of the map. This is Derelict Watcher again. I feel like that is RatPoison's map of choice, and his opponent down here is BrofessorX as the pink Protoss. Once again, it looks like another Forge First Fast Expand. So BrofessorX seems to be the type to stick with the build and see if it works. And so far it has been working. There have been variations in the mid to late game, but so far, is he going to be attacking it? Yes! Get some damage on that thing. But instead of having a whole bunch of different builds, he's instead decided to get some breadth or some depth of skill on this one build against at least each matchup, because BrofessorX did play very differently against his Terran opponent, but against Zerg he's been doing Forge First every single time. This Forge was delayed by this drone, so that was an excellent usage of the drone. Keep those cannons out a little bit longer, deciding that last time the 10 pool did not work out. This has been building for 35 seconds already, but this was not a 10 pool. Deciding that those early pool openings were just not being successful enough. Oh, and it looks like BrofessorX might try to block the expansion. So going to block that, because that would actually be quite a big blow. He also has enough money. Where's that expansion going? Ninja expansion. Take that. So, BrofessorX should be quite confused. He doesn't see his opponent's natural having an expansion, and there's absolutely nothing in the main base. So he's got to be saying to himself, where in the world is that money? We see once again the cannon is part of the wall. I a little bit disagree with that. I like to see it against Zerg. I like to build my cannons far enough back that they can shoot the roaches, and shoot roaches shooting the buildings, but not really take damage from many roaches at a time. Just as a little pro tip. That's actually how most of the pros do it as well. The probe here going to be scouting continuously. I think he just clicked on the minimap like this, like 183 times. Trying to keep continuous information. You could just put it on patrol. That would also work. So, and not going to, so another big difference here is that, okay, I was going to say that he has not thrown down that third base yet, but he does as soon as I say that. Go ahead and do that. We do have the second base finishing up already. He decided that this one was blocked, so he decided to expand over here. So it was not a true ninja expansion, although generally I think most players expect to find this as the third base of their opponent. So back at home, we have another cannon finishing up, a gateway finally finishing. Look at this. This gateway is going to be done. The very first unit the Protoss player can make will be out at 6 minutes. Interesting, is it not? By the same token, there are no units out from his opponent, so it's not a great loss. Keeping up with those injects, only 4 energy left on that queen. He's been very aggressive at keeping the energy down on his queen. And we'll see. So the first game that they played on this map, there was some crazy Nidus play, there was some crazy counter-attacking going on, and this is a very open and large map. So it's a little bit interesting, and we'll see if RatPoison continues to favor this very roach-heavy composition, and if BrofessorX, and by the same turn, favors a very stalker-heavy and immortal kind of heavy play. Although we did see Void Rays out of him last game, which was a little bit different. Okay, so we do have the Cyber Core going down. Nothing crazy. Now that the base is up and running, you expect him to continue teching as normal. Just everything has been delayed by the full length of at least one Nexus, and possibly more. So 3 gates going down. Okay, so this is actually just kind of status quo. Getting up to 4 gates on 2 bases. that doesn't really tell you anything. We do have the Roach Horn and the Evolution Chamber, not the eBay, going down. Warp Gate being chrono boosted. I'm not entirely sure that's the best use of Warp Gate, or of chrono boost. Warp Gate is always super nice to have. However, I feel like in this case I would be continuously chrono boosting workers, trying to gain a lead or keep up at least with your Zerg opponent. And especially if you don't have any proxy pylons, there's really no need to chrono boost Warp Gate, because you're not. The main point of Warp Gate is that you can warp in all the way over here, and this walk distance is chopped into nothing. So that's why it's an important upgrade, and that's why the 4 gate is such a powerful attack, because usually if it was a normal non-proxy, the attack would happen a good minute later, as everything takes quite a long time, especially if you're an Overlord, to get from one side of the map to the other. The Overlord can be tickled a little bit by the Sentry. It actually, I think it's static electricity that the Sentry shoots. It feels like it does nothing to them. It's similar. Reapers used to feel very powerful, at least against light units. Now they feel like they do nothing. Same thing for Ghosts in Brood War. Ghost against anything that had armor basically didn't do any damage. So we do have +1 weapons. Good use of this this forge. You have the forge early. Might as well make it useful by starting to get those upgrades. We do have. Now we're going to have 6 gates. Once again, 6 gates is still not a huge tell. 6 is aggressive, but it's not. 7 or 8 gate is what you generally see in a big warp gate push from a Protoss player off of 2 bases. RatPoison is ramping up his own production as well. He does have +1 going down, and another eBay to do a little bit more upgrades. That macro hatch is here. We're going to have a little bit of a scouting moment. And he should notice that this didn't take any damage, and so that he shouldn't build anything in return. He did, however, overreact and throw down 2 spore crawlers. Not altogether a bad thing, but forcing out 3 spore crawlers. Wow. Okay, engagement here at the front. These roaches do not have glial reconstitution. They will not be able to get too much kiting done against these zealots. So I think they're both going to go back and lick their wounds a little bit. Waiting for more reinforcements from his opponent. Glial reconstitution is almost done. Another 20 seconds, and he will be able to kite much more effectively against these slow zealots. Charge is on its way, but he has over a minute to mess around with his opponent. The zealots having to come through one at a time. The Stalker is able to get a lot of attacks in, while the roaches are able to retreat. Not the greatest kiting going on. He's going to sacrifice those roaches at the back. Nope, no he's not. I thought he was going to sack the ones at the back so then he could escape with at least the ones in the front. It's a delaying tactic, quite frequently used. You feel sorry for the rear guard, but that is what they are there for. We do have a Spire and a Baneling Nest appearing. So he does have enough gas to do a decent amount. He's been building too many roaches, though, to have tons of gas for mutas. And Baneling Nest, did it get... Oh, it didn't get canceled. It did finish. Ooh. It's going to take his way over to his opponent's base the sneaky way around back. And remember, there's no wall here. He could run directly into his opponent's base. No, he's going to run back. He's checking for expansions. Good job there. I really feel like a Zergling run by. There's not a single sentry on the map. And sentries are really what keep Protoss alive, especially in the early game, because it's an impenetrable force field. You can't run through it. It'll keep things out of your base, and as long as you have enough sentries, you'll do fine. Instead, these speedlings getting a good chance to exercise. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's starting to get a little bit late here, as I'm casting these from my exciting new apartment here in California, and still adjusting to time zones and all sorts of fun things. So the Speedlink's been very active. Good use of Speedlinks. I would have liked to see a Zergling run by. Just run right in. There's absolutely nothing defending this base. But instead, we'll be having a base back here. The Spire, second Spire, and third Spire? Why is he... Oh, this is sad. Engagement here at the front. The Zergling's not able to get a surround. It's a terrible engagement. He's going to morph Banelings right in front of the Zealots. and the roaches here will not be able to take this out. It looks like the banelings will not finish in time, especially against that many stalkers. The banelings are just so bad against... Oh, force fields right on top of them. Banelings going to take out the rest of the zealots and do very little at all to those. He does... Oh, no, he fully finished 3 spires. So RatPoison looking a little bit frazzled again. Just not able to deal with all of the... I wouldn't even say aggression. Maybe the unit composition or the number of units is kind of what's throwing him off, or he's extending himself so much further than normal to play at possibly a higher APM. Look at that, 93 APM average. Just not able to do much with it. And I feel like maybe he was distracted by trying to be very active on the map. And with these number of stalkers in the base and the roaches here swarming in, I just don't think there's going to be any way that he can hold off this attack. Luckily, there's no proxy pylon close by, so those reinforcements have taken quite a long time to get here, but I just don't feel like there's enough here to really help out. The drone's going to get their licks in. They're going to take out one of those, or they would have had RatPoison not left the game. But good games by BrofessorX. Very standard ZVP. Good example of the metagame. And good games overall. And RatPoison, you know, better luck to you in the losers bracket. You could potentially come back up and take on BrofessorX again in the winners bracket. So, congratulations, and we're looking forward to the finals of the Code B tournament.